I'm Nina Bawal. I'm the co-founder of Cyberlight, and at some point, my co-founder will pop up. And if we do have time, we will take questions. But if we don't, please feel free to reach out to me on my LinkedIn, and I'm really happy to help. Now, what we're here to talk about is social media in the context of cyber safety education. It'll come to nobody's shock that 99.6% of our children by the age of 16 in South Asia are all on social media. And contrary to popular belief, students don't tend to want to live there alone in their private little caves. They're not looking for spaces where they can hide. In fact, they're on social media very much to communicate for entertainment and joy. And they would love to speak to adults about what they see and what's happening there. Unfortunately, our ears are often closed and we feel intimidated about communicating about their space. And what we want to do is sort of take that veil off and get us to really understand how students are navigating their social media and how we can support them as their trusted adults. Now, we are doing a series of 4 webinars to really just do a drop in the ocean on what you need to know about certain topics. But all of these topics will have the application of our framework to them. And I want to today really zone in on the middle framework, which is what we believe all children from the age of 5 to 17 should be educated on. And today we're going to look at social media through the lens of 3 of these pie chart sectors. This will be digital identity, digital media literacy, and online relationships. What I hope for this session is at the end of it, you are open to have conversations with teenagers and students about their social media space and have more of the language and nuance to understand how you bring awareness to them having a supportive and easier time online. So let's get started. First of all, what are your teens seeing online? It's always important to remember what me and you see online to what our children see are incredibly different, and how they navigate those naps that they use are different as well. In the real world, I, Nina Boal, have many faces. I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm an entrepreneur, and I would like to think I'm quite a good friend. All those characteristics of me carry many different personalities. I do not act the same in front of my mother-in-law as I would my best friend. Very much is the same of our students and how they navigate their social media. Most of our children are on at least 8 different social media platforms at one time. Think about that as 8 different personalities, and they are using those social platforms in very different ways. So we're really looking at Asia here. This is where the bulk of Cyberlight work is. And I sit in India and Michelle in Singapore, though we do work across Indonesia and Malaysia. So some of this data will reflect the whole of Asia. So if you're here from India, you will see TikTok is there. TikTok is not in India at the moment, though hush hush on our community, we know that TikTok this week has launched its site again as Modi is visiting China. It may be back up and running before we know it. So let's see. So be aware of it. You never know what might happen. Going back to the personalities and how children actually use social media. Think of Instagram as their created self. It's a place where they go to have expression, to be creative, and to really put out there the persona they want the world to know of them. They may have an account for their friends, an account for their family, but they are really creating what you see. WhatsApp is another large one in all the communities we work in, and this is their authentic self. This is when they are the same person as they are in the real world, and they are communicating with those close friends and family they feel secure to do so. YouTube is another social space where children are, and here they're learning for themselves. They're discovering, they're looking for information in short and long form. In spaces such as India, Facebook is still there, Singapore, not so much. And this is a space where we allow our family to see us, and we really are open to those who are in our community to see what we're doing as students. And then we have Snapchat. Snapchat is where an alter ego may be at play. It may be somewhere where we send disappearing messages, may communicate with strangers who are not already in our space. These are the spaces our children may navigate and what I will be speaking about today. So moving on what I will actually be communicating on. There are three big points that I will be speaking on. We're going to look at what age should students start to use social media, what are the main concerns, and can you see a difference in the students' behavior once they start social media? Before we start, I always like to get everyone on the same page, and we will do that by, if you can answer three of the questions that are in front of you. This is a quick poll to make sure we're all thinking and acknowledging that we're speaking of our social media space. The first one is, what age should students start to use social media? For anyone in the room from Australia, this is a conversation that's really in your zeitgeist and we're having a lot. When should they be on social media? The second question, what are the main concerns you have about teens' social media use? Just put that up there. And I will share this with everyone so you can see what other educators are thinking and concerned about. And do scroll down and you'll see the third question there. Can you see a difference in your students' behavior once they start social media? So for those middle school teachers who have children who don't have a phone, and then somewhere through the year, they suddenly are exposed to social media, do you see a difference in their behavior? So if we could just have a vote, I'm just going to allow that happen quite quickly again. I can see people are still voting, and I'm going to just give you one more moment. And thank you so much for the participation here. This is fabulous. Learning from each other is so incredibly important. I've ended the poll there and you can see the answers in front of you, I hope. And Michelle, do give me a flag if the answers haven't come up. What age would students start to use social media? We see the answers. Let me just pull up the answers. Can you see the answers, Michelle? I'm not seeing it in front of me.
I'm going to jump in here.
Thank you.
We have quite a range of answers, from some people saying 12 years old all the way up to 18. I see people also putting 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So,
Oh, wow.
and then there's some people that says it depends.
Okay. And the second one?
The second one, I think a lot of people perhaps have clicked on every single option that there was, but the highest one I see are people are worried about online strangers and predators, as well as screen time, cyberbullying, oversharing personal information are all up there.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to jump forward and continue, and we will go into some of those answers as we go through. You'll see why we've asked you those questions. So I'm going to start with the digital identity piece of our wheel, and hopefully how I do this, you'll see how you can actually go away and teach this in the classroom as well. Now, what do I mean by digital identity? This is how students are presenting themselves online, and how I just spoke about how we present ourselves differently on different platforms. Traditionally, we have a self that we may have for our families, our communities, and we are influenced by those around us. My influence came very much from my school, from my parents, and from the friends we have. Now our children have outside influence, and this is very much why we call them influencers. Our children are spending more time communicating or hearing from people they find on YouTube or on Instagram, and their opinions and their lifestyles are becoming part of their everyday learning, and they are adapting often quite a bit of their value system, which is affecting their digital identity. Their identities online are often because of who they see and what they view. These are three people that I have who are very well known influencers, and I want us to sort of guess Can you guess how many followers these Instagrammers all have? So let's have a look. The first one is Mr. Beast. I'm sure we've all heard of him. He also has a Amazon series that he is so big, and he has over 450 million, and is anticipated that he earns over $85 million a year. And then we have KL Bro. This is a Kerala family, Mallus, who have started just communicating in a very beautiful way about their lives. And they are at 76 million, and this is earning of 120 million a year. And then we have Jess No Limit, who has 54 million subscribers and is thought to earn up to 14 million a year. And when you hear staggering figures like that, you can understand why it is so interesting for our students to want to be influencers. And you can also read into the fact how much time our children are spending with them if this is the currency they are earning. Teens are looking to their influencers as models. They're coming up and understanding modern slang. They're looking at fashion trends, gaming interests. There is a lot of power behind what the influencer can do. They scroll on average 5 hours a day with these influencers. And you can see it happening when they really like a certain person online, even their accents will change. And you will see slang come up in the zeitgeist of our children, things that influencers created and have put out there. Now, I won't tell you what all of these mean. Please do take a screenshot. And if you're not too sure, go ahead and Google them and see what they mean, or try them out on your students. I know my own children who are teenagers always laugh when I say these words because from an adult mouth, they find it incredibly funny. Now, some of these things are just part of culture, something we can accept and play around with the students in our classroom, except that they are learning things that are quite fun and interesting. But influence does often have negative implications as well. And one of the things we really need our children to be able to understand is that there can be issues with the risks they will see online. Some of these risks come in the form of viral challenges. For example, we've seen challenges where they have been snorting or sniffing cinnamon, and cinnamon can be incredibly dangerous if you do that. The skull breaker challenge, where a friend kicks your legs from under you, and some children have hit their head and had incredibly serious injuries. And unfortunately, we've also had things like the blackout challenge, where choking to a point of passing out has become a viral trend. Because often students end up in a algorithm or seeing this a lot, they're not really understanding the risk vector to it and are only just seeing the fun, something we need to really worry or concern ourselves with. We may have all seen a case in Maharashtra where a 17-year-old was playing around with one of these trends where you pretended to commit suicide for a social media video, but things went terribly wrong and they lost their lives. This is where social media and having that influence coming all the time can be very complex and something we need to look at. So, what can we do? You are the trusted adults in the room, and we are so fully aware that we don't always have the answers. Many of the times, we just need to spark critical thinking. We need to know which influences they're following online. Put it into your conversations with the students. Understand, go over and see where the influence is coming from. And if you feel that you need to approach or give them critical thinking of, do you think that's wise? Do you think this will work for us? Etc., etc. Start encouraging that open conversation. Don't be negative all about all the local trends. Some of them are fun, and get them to define the fun ones to the negative ones. And really, as we will go through, the importance of critical thinking is very important. We'll move to the next section. And as you can see, this is the quick 30-minute download of social media to who we can trust. And now we're going into the pie chart and the wheel, and we're looking at the digital media literacy piece. Digital media literacy really works on fake news and getting children to identify the mis and the disinformation that's out there. Misinformation is when you see something and you're not too sure if it's true or not, but you forward it anyway, becoming part of the problem. While disinformation is when someone's gone out of their way to create negative news. Now, when I taught this a while ago, I was not really worried about the advent of AI, but AI has now become incredibly prevalent and something we really need to think about. One of the things we need to understand about how social media works in digital media literacy is how children get their news. Now, for you and for me, we rarely go to traditional news channels. The first time we hear about a news event is often on social media. And I know that's incredibly true for myself. But as an adult, I do read it on social media and then go to a traditional source to understand if it's true or not. Our children are using social media as their number one and only news source. They Other thing that has become incredibly disturbing with AI and the world we live in. Even reputable news organizations often report false stories, and 1 in 2 people encounter fake news. In fact, with my teenagers' accounts, I find up to 60% of their Instagram is now all fake, and it's projected by 2030, 90% of what our children will be seeing is completely created by AI. Let me show you this short video, which gives me a moment to breathe, and also for you to see what AI can do right now.
Everything you are about to see is 100% AI generated. All the images, all of the audio.
Here are some examples of what Floyd was able to do with the new VO3 from Google.
Tonight on the feed, AI video, art form or algorithmic anarchy. We go live now to our reporters.
For real takes from real prompts.
Do you feel real? Yes or no?
I do feel real, but could a real person do this?
Do you feel real? Yes or no?
Oh, I used to. How does it feel to know this is all fake and we're just generated from a prompt?
You mean none of this is real? My husband? My children? They are.
What is something people would be interested to know about life as an AI?
Well, weird stuff can and does happen all the time. Super random.
Gold coins for everyone out there!
AI content is dominating Facebook and Instagram, and we often see an incredible amount of spam. We actually call this AI slop, and if you are interested in actually knowing more about that, reach out to me and we can do a series on how this is being created and the effects it has on our children. What is important is that we talk about it and we get children to understand how AI is being used in their social media channels. In social media, it's been creating perfect images. We're seeing a lot of our girls really trying to get to idealistic looks that are not obtainable because it is not real people. You cannot obtain the flawlessness of something that's been created by AI. The prevalence of disinformation in anyone's community who's on this call, we all know of misinformation that really has affected us, and we're never too sure what's true or not. We can see the case in point in Indonesia, where they've just had to switch off the TikTok because of the amount of information that's going out there. People can be scammed into buying fake products that don't even exist. You don't even have to create a company anymore. You can create a fake product and get information from the children and buying things that don't exist. What you might notice and what you need to watch out for as students is when children start quoting facts. My kids will come in and tell me facts that don't sound true. As educators, what we need to do is really bring media literacy into every subject. We need children to source and consider where they've got their information from, and to really consider manipulated content. Whether you're in geography or history, there is now a lot of deep fakes that are out there that really question the reality. It is to us as educators to stay on top of that and really consider how we can support our children through this. So what can you do? Every subject needs to be teaching digital literacy at this point. We can't leave it to the IT department alone because media and fake news is everywhere. And we need to practice fact checking. At the end of every document or homework, maybe put something in where they have to show that they are fact checking. This is a skill that we need to really be putting into our children in every time of and every subject. Now, moving to the third part of the pie that I want to get to through, it's the online relationship piece. Now, as you can see, I'm applying our framework to something that's very important to children, social media. From the age of 13, children are all on social media. Our framework will allow you to understand how to slowly go through all the topics and consider what parts you need to teach. So do reach out to us if you'd like us to give you more information on how to use this. Our lesson plans are on our website and you can start building information and using it there. Now, as we go into online relationships, important to note, nearly 6 in 10 adolescents say that they've spoken or contacted a stranger. As I always say, I go into classrooms every day, across the Asia Pacific, and we see this is actually up to 80% of children who are speaking to strangers. And the interesting thing is, even when you don't want them to speak to children or strangers, the technology companies are really aiding this to be allowed to happen. For example, my daughter is on Instagram and she has 12 followers and she's well educated never to show her face. So her profile picture is her with her phone in front of her. She did not realize Instagram had gone and created a Threads account for her. And Threads, you are allowed to comment on the profile even if they're not your friend. And she was getting these types of messages, which are from bots and from adults who have ill intentions, and she couldn't understand where it was coming from. This was something she hadn't done herself. Me, as a cyber safety expert, had not seen that Threads had been created for her. Other technologies like Snapchat really encourages teens to send disappearing messages. Encrypted channels are there as well. And all of these things we need to think and worry about how our children are navigating this with strangers in the room. Teenagers do love to connect to strangers. Risk is very low level when it comes to understanding what's happening when you're a teenager. That's why we all did such crazy things when we were younger. But we didn't have this ability to speak to strangers with bad motivation in such a big and mass level. They are there because they're seeking validation. Students like the attention. The importance of hearts and likes on their social media has become prevalent and part of their own digital identity. Some of the apps I want you to be aware of to really understand are out there and something we should be worried about are Snapchat. Snapchat is very, very popular. Most of the children would have it at a certain age of 15 plus. And what they like about it is the direct messaging they can have with their peers. The unfortunate circumstances that happen with it is when they join groups without their peers, and there is an anonymous chat function where they can talk about children without them knowing it. And we've seen some cross-school contamination where one school has gone after the other, anonymously being really mean or cruel about the children or students in each school. They also have disappearing messages, which we know can often lead to nudes being shared, thinking that they will disappear, but obviously you can take a screenshot of anything. Predators often work by trying to reach out to our children through social media, DMing them or communicating with them on the channel, and then coming over to an encrypted channel. So most people who have ill intention do not want their children to stay on a social media, because most social medias will have moderation in there and they will pull down things when they see it, while encrypted channels like Telegram and WhatsApp don't. So we need to be really clear about when children use this, they understand if a stranger asks you to come to this channel is a red flag and we need to worry about it. The other one that's very big here in India and Singapore is Omi TV. This used to be called Omegle, but that got shut down, but came back as this. And it's an unfortunate app which has absolutely nothing good about it. If you're going to ban anything, this would be the one. You just log in and you randomly end up with a stranger in front of you. 80% of children have seen sexual imaging when they have been on platforms like this. We need to know about these platforms so we can talk about them and we can get them to understand the issues. So as a teacher, what you may want to notice if people or students, not people, students become secretive about their phone or their computer usage, if they become very stressed or anxious and you know that they've had a phone or this has become something they've become quite addicted to, if they start to define their lives as online friends and offline friends, that's something that we need to be flagging up to parents as well. And if they become very defensive about online activities, children who are in a healthy, happy place with their online activities are happy to talk about them. They like to share the memes. If you're anything like me, when I go to bed at night, I like to send my poor best friends all the memes I find really funny. Children are the same. They will tell you, they will share with you what they think is funny. If that is not happening and there is a withdrawal, this is when we need to think, consider, and maybe reach out and ask if they need support. So what can you do? Help students turn on their privacy settings. That if you feel children's privacy settings aren't on there, ask the parent if you'd like support putting those on. Reach out to us and we will send you the tools to get that done. Or you can just go onto our website and we show you how to put the tools on all social media. Set personal boundaries. Get children to understand boundaries online matter. Who you allow to be your friend matters as much as it does at school. Be as selective and be open. Make sure they know you're the trusted adult and just be aware as a trusted adult, if there's something you don't know how to deal with, there are experts like us who can point you to the right people if we don't have the knowledge or the resource ourselves. Thank you very much. I've done an excellent job on timing. And I would like to also invite you to come to one of our other webinars, which is also, it's a bite size, so you get to understand what we say, how we operate, and how we can support you. The next one is on online gaming. And then on September the 17th, we really want to really drill into that. How do you be a trusted adult? One of the main questions I get asked all the time is, when I get told about cyberbullying, what am I supposed to do? I don't know what my role is. I don't have a framework or a system that I can work with. And the last one is tackling screen time. This one, please do feel free to put into your newsletters, invite the parents. This is very much their role as well. And make sure that they are aware that we are here with some strategies and support to ensure that they understand how to deal with this. Thank you very much. I have a last slide. If you could all happily do this so we can make sure we bring to you the information that you require. As a school, if you would like more information or us to come with one of our free workshops or a more structured program, please do reach out to us and we'll be happy to accommodate. Thank you very much.